Hi everyone, welcome back to Sam and Cod Playtime. Sorry about my last video, it stopped recording on me and I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but that's okay. I think you understood what I was trying to do, right? I was taking very large things and I was breaking them up very small. I broke them up smaller and then smaller and then smaller yet. Right, let's get it to where you can see it. There we go. And then I realized that if I took the small things and added all my little tiny small things back together, I could get the next bigger size. And if I added up all the ones I had of the next bigger size, it would equal the next bigger size. And if I added all those up, I got back to my original number, or my original pom-pom. Do you remember that? Do you kind of see what I was doing? Well, guess what? That's all math is. When we talk about math, all math is taking a number and breaking it up smaller, 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 and then putting it back together, bigger, 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 bigger. Now, how do we do that? There's many, many ways that we can do that. We can break it up all sorts of different ways, and that's why math is fun. That's the point of math. It's about taking something, breaking it up in different ways, and trying to put it back together where you get your original shape. You get your original number. That's all math is. Out of all the years that you are going to study math, that's all you're studying. You're only studying how to take something apart and then put it back together. That's all you're doing. That's all math is. Sometimes when we're doing math and we have a number, let's say this stands for a number, you can take it apart in equal pieces, in equal-sized pieces. And it makes sense because you can see it. And in your head, you're like, okay, all these pieces are equal. We can just take this apart, and it makes sense. And once you've taken it apart, you can just take those equal-sized pieces and put them back. And you get your original shape. And it's real easy, and it's understandable. You can get that. But sometimes we don't take things apart in regular, nice, even-sized shapes. We just don't do that every day. Why? Because we're creative. We are creative people, and we like to cut things and dice things and just tear them apart, make them all sorts of crazy, because we get bored, and that's what we do. So sometimes we can have a shape that looks like this. It's one big, solid shape on all sides. It's big and solid. But we can take it apart, and sometimes when we take it apart, some of the pieces are kind of small. They kind of look like this. Sometimes we can take that shape and we take a huge chunk out of that shape, right, out of that number. We can take a huge shape out of it. Sometimes we take a kind of sideways, kind of flatter piece out. Sometimes we break this flatter piece into even more pieces. See how these are almost the same size? We can break it up even better. But the whole point is that when we go to put it back together, math is just figuring out how to put our shape back together so that at the very end of the day, it's the same exact shape and size that we started with. We tend to think of numbers as having shapes and sizes sometimes inside our mind because we can take a number apart, and sometimes we take bigger numbers out of it. Sometimes we take smaller numbers out of it. But the whole point is that we can do that and still have it start out as one shape. And when we have all the pieces all over the place, we know that if we put all these pieces back together, we're going to get our original shape. And that is the point of math. Now again, sometimes our numbers look a little crazy. And when you take them apart, the way that you chop up a number, sometimes it won't look anything like whatsoever. But that's okay, because when you put them back together, they form a number that you have pre-selected, a number that you have chosen. They form that number again, okay? Sometimes numbers will look like this. They'll look kind of silly. But you can take them apart just like this, and then you can put those numbers right back together, and it all will make sense yet again. Okay? Sometimes the numbers that we use look just completely like they have no reason for being. Like, what is this? What is this? This looks like it has no point in life because it's just so crazy silly. Can you see this? That's a crazy silly piece. That makes no sense. But if you put it with other numbers that are silly and crazy and look like they make no sense, sometimes when you put all these crazy ones together, if I can get this one put back on, they make something that absolutely makes sense. Looks like little stairs, doesn't it? Like you can go up a little staircase. Bloop, 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 bloop. Sometimes those little crazy numbers that you don't think make sense at all, when you put them all together, you're like, oh, that's kind of a pattern. That makes a lot of sense in my head. Now that I can see all these put together, yeah, I can totally see that that makes sense. That has a purpose. That has function. That's doable. It looks like stairs or like a little roof on a building. It can look like all sorts of different things, okay? Sometimes by themselves, the numbers look pretty strange. But when you put all those strange numbers together, they make something that you can understand. Sometimes in math, it looks like your number might have a big hole in the middle with parts missing. But that's okay, because you can just use other pieces to go with that. Sometimes they'll have a piece missing on the side. But that's okay. Just helps them to build onto other numbers better. Legos is all math is. It's just taking apart numbers and then finding ways to put them back together. That's all math is. Now, while all this looked organized and kind of fun, sometimes math does not look organized. Sometimes math might make you want to cry. Or sometimes math might make you want to laugh. Math might be in the craziest pieces you've ever seen in your life, and it might come flying through going, ah! You know what? When math does that to me, those are my favorite days. I love when math looks like this, because it makes me smile, and it makes me go, ah! That's just the greatest thing ever. Sometimes I gotta work at it just a little harder, but I know in the end, I'm gonna have something really cool, and something I can be really proud of. And believe it or not, I'm kind of proud of this little guy. He's kind of cute. Alright? So, next couple years of your life, you're just going to be learning how to take apart numbers and put them back together again. And that is pretty fun, especially when it looks like this. Alright, everyone. I hope you have a really great day, and I will see you tomorrow, okay? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we are Salmon and Cod Playtime, and we will see you later. Bye, everyone. Bye.